Welcome to our health challenge. Can something as basic as walking bring you some health benefits, make you healthier, and make you live longer? You've probably heard about 10,000 steps a day. But where did this number come from? And how can you even achieve that? But before we dive into this, let me start off with a few visuals. Let me share my screen and share my slides with you. The power of walking. Every minute counts. How many of you like waterfalls? I personally love waterfalls. Wherever I am, I need to see all the waterfalls in the area. I'm just fascinated by the amount of water that goes through them every single minute. Similarly, our blood needs to be moving because how many of you like stagnant water like this? Nobody, right? Why not? It's gross. And that's exactly the difference between the waterfalls and the stagnant water. It's the movement. And similarly, we need to have our blood just moving. We need to keep it moving. Research has shown that taking 10,000 steps a day may really do something with your blood that keeps it moving, similarly to waterfalls. Let's dive into the research. According to a study that included more than 78,000 adults, walking reduces the risk of premature death. If you walk 5,000 steps a day, how long will it take you to walk 5,000 steps? It'll probably take you somewhere between half an hour and an hour, depending on your speed. So if you walk 5,000 steps a day, or half an hour to an hour a day, you reduce your risk of premature death by 40%. If you can walk 10,000 steps a day, the risk is reduced by 60%. That's amazing. And you can see that the curve is pretty steep in the beginning. In other words, if you're not walking at all, and then suddenly start walking at least 2,000 steps a day, every 2,000 steps a day reduced the risk of premature death by 10%. Now you may think, well, 10,000 steps a day, that's an hour to 2 hours, depending on the speed. That's a lot of time. Where do I take the time to do all the steps? I'm glad you asked. You're not alone. If you go to work, it may be challenging to find so much time. But the good news is that you don't need to do the 10,000 steps in one stretch. You can just break it up. How about breaking up the walking into small, short walks after the meals? How many of you feel sleepy after the meals sometimes? That's because your blood sugar spikes after the meals. One study took people with prediabetes and asked them to walk for 45 minutes a day in 3 different ways. Either take a walk at 10:30 in the morning for 45 minutes, or a 45-minute walk in the afternoon at 4:30 p.m., or take a short walk 15 minutes after each meal, after breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And their blood sugar was reduced in half when taking the walks after the meals. So that's one simple hack, how to get in the 10,000 steps a day. Another strategy is just inserting walking wherever you can, taking short breaks throughout the day. The data from the ENHANCE study that included more than 3,000 participants showed that if you trade 2 minutes of every hour of sitting for light physical activity, such as walking or stretching, you reduce the risk of premature death by 33%. And if you move 5 minutes of each hour, your risk is lowered by 63%, which is impressive. This study also confirms the findings about the importance of taking 10,000 steps a day, because let's do the math. If you do 5 minutes of walking every hour for 12 hours a day, that's about an hour of walking. And if your walks are brisk, you can achieve 10,000 steps. As waterfalls collect multiple streams, so may you also keep your blood moving throughout the day. As an extra benefit, walking also improves your mood. Walking activates soothing neurons in the brain, and these neurons help alleviate feelings of stress, anxiety, and even depression. So the action items for this week are: number 1, how can I break up my sitting patterns throughout the day and keep the blood moving? Number 2, how can I get in 10,000 steps every single day? I'm looking forward to hearing back from you, and have a wonderful week. Thank you.